From LinkedIn or YouTube, welcome. It's good to see you guys here again. We are at 12 p.m., so we're about to get started here. We're live right now on YouTube, on LinkedIn, and on School. So wherever you guys are coming from, welcome. It's great to have you guys here today for this Thursday's masterclass. It's not on our normal day. We typically do Fridays, so this is definitely a new time. But tomorrow I'm headed to New York, so this is the best time that works for me. Cool, so we're gonna give everyone a few minutes to get in here. I'm gonna make sure we have the chat open. Everyone is working. All right, make sure I pause. So LinkedIn's looking good. Welcome in, guys. Good to have you guys here. Okay, let me change this to this chat really quickly. Cool, awesome. All right, all messages are popping up. So guys, if you have any questions throughout today's live, please drop them in the chat. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll answer those live in today's session. It's a good session today. We're really focusing on inbound leads, getting clients from content, and I'll do a quick intro here shortly. But we'll start in about 2-ish minutes, and then we'll get started. If you guys also want to join on the school community, the link is in my school. You just join it. You can join with your face cams and your mics. If you have any questions, you can ask away. Cool. All right, yo. Okay, we'll get started here in just a moment. All right. Okay, and for those of you guys that are joining us from LinkedIn and YouTube, if you guys want to join from school, you can. You have access to have your mic on and your camera. So if you guys have any questions throughout today's live, you can join up as well. Today's session is going to be primarily based on helping with inbound leads, specifically from content, from DMs, and then also just from our entire LinkedIn growth system. So if you guys are struggling with any sort of content issues, trying to be consistent with content to actually drive more clients to your profile, then we're going to cover all that today. We're going to cover a few tools as well that I'm using to increase inbound leads as well, which is exciting. And then throughout today's session, if you have any questions, you can just drop them in the chat, or you can just raise your hand in the school, and we'll go through those. Cool. We also had a few questions I will pull up from yesterday's post for today's session. I've also recorded it, so for those of you that are premium users in the school, you guys can access recordings in the classroom tab. Okay, questions from yesterday. We'll actually start probably with these, and then we had a couple. I know Prabhat, you said that you wanted to cover outbound and DMs, so we can definitely cover that today, 100%. I'll also cover a little bit of AimFox. I'm actually flying to Serbia in a couple weeks to hopefully see the AimFox team, which is exciting. But AimFox has been like the best platform for outbound DMs for all of our clients, so we can definitely cover some of the best DMs for that for sure. Cool. All right, guys, we'll start in a minute. I'll do a little quick intro, and then we'll just get started on questions and also going over a bit of a system here. All right. Couple minutes. We'll start about 12:05. Got a few of you guys coming in from LinkedIn. Jonathan, good to see you as well. Evan, what's good? What's up, Cameron? Good to see you guys. All right. I think next week we're going to have our, our live session next week will be in London, I believe. And then the week after that will be in Slovakia. So that'll be a fun session. I think we'll find like a cool like castle or something to do it at. Then the week after that will be in Italy. And then the week after that we'll have a session in, I'm not actually sure. We'll pick and choose that one. But we got some really exciting sessions coming up. We've got some co-sessions we're going to be hosting, some masterclass sessions with a couple other LinkedIn creators. So we got a couple partnerships coming up in the next 3-ish weeks. So we'll have a lot of good systems to be shown as well. It's exciting. All right, cool. All right, I'm going to start with a little intro for everyone that's here so far, and then we'll get started with a little bit of a system. I'm going to share my screen in school so you guys can see. Okay, let's get this going. Intro. Cool. All right, guys, so I'll start with a quick intro. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Alex, and I've been a content creator just for about, I think like 10-ish years now, 12 years. It's been pretty crazy. So I started actually on Twitch back in 2014. I was one of the larger Fortnite streamers at the time, and that kind of got me into the whole like content creation, building systems, trying to like build an audience, go live streaming, all this stuff. So Twitch was like kind of like the start for me, and that was in 2014. I played a lot of video games. I was actually a Apple developer as well back in like 2010-ish. But that was really like the beginning for me. And I grew that to about 65K followers. And then if you flash forward to about 2018, I started doing TikTok, more like short form video content. I got quite large on TikTok. I started doing Instagram Reels, YouTube Shorts. And so my short form journey kind of started in 2018. And that's where I grew that to about 146,000 followers. And then I flashed forward a couple years later after doing some gaming content and some short form content. We went in over to the crypto space in about 2021 during COVID. That was kind of an interesting time. That's also my college time for me before I graduated college. I was doing crypto and also the gaming stuff. And then you flash forward to 2023. Right when I finished college in 2023, I began doing LinkedIn and educational-based content. And that's kind of where I started my LinkedIn journey from there. I haven't looked back. If you flash forward to today, we're basically running the entire business from LinkedIn. We've been able to go full-time on LinkedIn, just doing LinkedIn content, LinkedIn partnerships, brand deals, working with people all across the world from LinkedIn. So it's been incredible, amazing experience. And on the right here, I just have some photos of me skydiving, doing some travels as well. I've currently been to 47 countries, hoping to hit 50 in the next couple of weeks. So that's also exciting. But it just shows you that LinkedIn can, and once you do build a one-person business on social media, you do have that time freedom and that essentially that location freedom to build wherever you want and scale wherever you want. So that's really exciting. Cool. So yeah, so that is a little intro about myself. And also, if you guys want in the LinkedIn, YouTube, or school chat, if you guys just want to drop a couple things about yourself, if you have any questions, or just want to explain a little bit about yourself, you are welcome to. Also, Prahad, you said, can I show later a few of my DMs? You can tell me what I need to do to improve them. Absolutely, yeah. We can definitely do that. And also, how do you plan for your trips, Alex? Can you share with us that too? Yeah, so for trips, I don't actually plan my trips. I kind of do. But I typically, what I do is I budget travel like crazy. It might look like I spend a lot of money. I think a lot of people think like traveling does cost a lot of money, which it does, typically for the first flight. So for example, I live in Florida. I fly to London, which is typically the most expensive flight. It's the cheapest to get to Europe, but once you fly to London, all of your flights, your trains, your buses, they're all within 10 to 15 bucks. You can get a flight from London to Italy for $10. You can get a bus from one city in Italy to another city for $5. So the actual expenses are very minimal once you actually get to Europe. That's the thing. And so when it comes to actually picking where I go, I kind of based off a couple things. One, where can I meet people and actually interact with other people in the community? Can I meet my clients? Can I meet potential clients? Can I meet brands? Can I meet other creators? So that's kind of the first thing I look at. The second thing is, what's the cheapest to get to? If I am, let's say, in Italy, where can I get to for cheap? So I'll typically just look at the next cheapest flight from Italy. Might be Slovakia, might be Austria, might be Switzerland, might be France, wherever it is. I'll just go to the next cheapest place, take a bus. I don't care. I'm just cool with it, whatever. But that's kind of how I do my trips. And I also work from my computer 24/7. So as long as I have a good internet connection and a solid place to sleep, that's really all I have to do. It's pretty simple, actually. Simple lifestyle. Okay, so, and I also want to recommend, guys, like LinkedIn right now is not saturated too much yet. It's also one of the best platforms for business intent. People make decisions on LinkedIn, which is why I want to heavily share with you guys these systems to build on LinkedIn specifically. People make decisions. People scroll intentionally on LinkedIn. People typically aren't on LinkedIn to like scroll like you are on Instagram, where you're just looking for some fun content or just to waste time. People are on LinkedIn for a very specific reason, whether they're a CEO, whether they're looking for a job, whether they're looking for some sort of opportunity, or they're looking for a coach or to learn something. They're on LinkedIn for a very real reason. And people spend money on LinkedIn. I have never seen brands like on LinkedIn spend as much money on brand partnerships, brand deals, working with creators. I've seen it for some of the bigger influencers on LinkedIn or on Instagram and TikTok, but LinkedIn, people spend money on this platform, which is why I highly recommend using LinkedIn for your personal brand, right? And then lastly, I will say, like, your views on LinkedIn are going to be way more beneficial for you and way more profitable than any of your views on other platforms. If you get 1,000 views on any other platform, it's going to look like a pretty big fail. The cool part about LinkedIn is I have plenty of pieces of content that get only 1,000 views, and those get me clients. Those get me paying. Those put me in front of people that are willing to pay top dollar for a product or service whatever I can help them with, they will pay top dollar. So LinkedIn is by far the best in terms of making decisions and people buying. So in today's live stream and today's masterclass, we will get started with the LinkedIn growth system. I'm just going to share little bits of it. It's the same system that helped me grow to over 43,000 followers, 250K in revenue just from LinkedIn alone. It's also, like I said, time freedom to travel to over 47 countries, and then also working with brands and clients all around the world. It's been incredibly, honestly, an amazing opportunity to meet so many cool people and brands. So yeah, we'll get started with that in today's masterclass. So if you guys have any other questions for today's session, please let me know. We're going to kind of break down most of the frequently asked questions, and then we'll kind of go from there. We're going to go over DM strategies, outbound and inbound strategies, and then we'll just base the rest of the masterclass today off of Q&A sessions. I've got a hard stop in about 40-ish minutes, 45 minutes, so we'll basically spend the entire time just sharing the systems. So yeah, if you have any questions throughout the chat, just drop them in the live chat, and I will answer them as I go. Awesome, guys. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get started. I think I'll start with actually a bit of my strategy behind getting inbound clients and attracting clients on LinkedIn. The one thing I do see from a lot of people is when they are building on LinkedIn, right? They always focus on, and I see this, I did this myself, and I see my clients do this too, is they focus primarily on how they're going to present themselves as like their LinkedIn profile, the messaging they're going to use, the headline that they have, the banner that they have, the profile photo. I actually noticed LinkedIn took away that white border on the profile photos. I noticed that today because I was scrolling. I was like, wait, do I not have a white thing around me? Like they used to have like that white stroke. I guess they took it away. Yeah, but essentially, like people always focus so much on their presence and how their profile looks and how their messaging looks. The most important thing to note is that if you are building on LinkedIn and you do want to have the proper messaging, but it's pretty much impossible to know your messaging unless you know what you're going to offer. So what products are you going to offer? What services are you going to sell? What is your main purpose to be on LinkedIn in the first place? Then you can answer those questions like who you help, how are you helping them, what are you doing, right? So I always recommend the first thing you do first is what are you going to provide? So for me, for example, as someone who's been on social media for a long time, I love doing growth type of content. I love doing personal storytelling. I love doing behind the scenes. I love sharing like growth systems. So that's what I'm going to focus primarily on is the growth systems. So I already know what I could sell. I have a lot of things I could sell. I could sell growth courses. I could sell coaching. I could sell one-on-one or cohort group coaching, for example. I can sell all these growth specific products and services. So I can just decide what I'm going to sell first. Now I can get into my profile. I can say, okay, I'm going to help people make LinkedIn their #1 client acquisition channel through these paid courses, these coaching cohorts, these programs, whatever it is, the school community. I know exactly how I'm going to help people now. So start with what you can offer, what you can see yourself providing for people, and then you can go to your profile and optimize it. So you could say, okay, I'm going to go to my headline. I know exactly how I'm going to help people. I can go to my banner. I know exactly how I'm going to help people there. I'm going to make it all consistent through my website, through my profiles on social media, through my messaging, through my inbound DMs, through my email content. It's all going to be roughly the same context. And that way, when someone does find me, they don't see like different versions of Alex. They just see that one version of Alex, which is this Alex, right? That's me. That's who I am, right? So it's important to have your consistent messaging across everything. And that's the same for your SEO, your AEO, your GEO. It should all be the same so that it all stays consistently on every single thing that you do. All right, so I want to make this a little bit smaller for everyone so we can see this properly. Okay, I'm going to make this also a screen share. Perfect. All right, cool. So this should be accessibly seen. All right, yeah, so once you've got down like what you want to actually offer, once you get down your profile messaging, that's kind of the first part of actually attracting any sort of clients. I remember when I started on LinkedIn, I was going for, I think, like 8-9 months, and I had not attracted a single person. I was basically just taking content that I had learned from X or Twitter at the time, and I would just repurpose that content over to LinkedIn. It didn't really do much for me. I think I was just more building an audience because people weren't actually on the platform yet. No one was really using LinkedIn for their, I guess, personal brand. They were posting more content based for getting jobs or, like, I guess, network updates, things like that. But it was a lot of trial and error. And so when I first started, 9 months go by, I don't have a business yet. I'm not actually selling anything. I think it took me about 13 months before I launched my first growth course, which is the Growth OS. And that's when I started targeting very specific people, those founders who wanted to build on LinkedIn, but didn't know how to do it, didn't know what to post, didn't know what to sell. They just wanted to basically start on LinkedIn and figure it out from there. And so that's why I took my knowledge that I had from my other socials and built a product on LinkedIn and sold it. And so once you do know what you want to sell, you can sell it through attracting an audience on LinkedIn, but it takes time. It takes a lot of time, actually. You won't start selling for a few months, pretty much guaranteed, unless you've got some crazy outbound system, you're paying for ads, or you have a coach probably who's telling you exactly what to do. That first few months is going to be a lot of trial and error and just kind of setting things up. And then from there, you can start seeing results from content and from everything else you're building. So what I want you guys to really first to focus on is focus on what you're offering. Like, why are you even on LinkedIn in the first place? Are you building a brand? Are you building a business? Are you working on a SaaS product? Are you trying to build your coaching program? Kind of figure out that purpose first. Like, why are you actually on LinkedIn? What's your purpose there? And then everything else becomes far easier, even for your LinkedIn content. Like, if I scroll down my LinkedIn content, right? Why am I creating all this content in the first place? Am I doing it because I want to grow my business? Am I doing it because I want to sell an offer? Am I doing it because I know my mom told me I should build a personal brand? Why are you actually creating content in the first place? Why are you building an email list? Why are you creating a newsletter? Why are you posting content? Why are you sending connections? You have to understand what your why is and what your purpose is, and then everything kind of aligns with that purpose. I know my purpose is I want to build my personal brand. I want to build a personal brand that actually attracts the right people. So not only can I build my business, but I can also help other businesses use LinkedIn as their number one client acquisition channel. I want everyone to use LinkedIn and see the benefits that it has and how valuable the platform is. So my only goal through my content, through my emails, through everything that I provide is to help you succeed on LinkedIn. That is my entire purpose. So I'm sharing basically everything that I do, all my systems, all the behind the scenes of my business, where I'm doing, what I've accomplished from LinkedIn, so I can share all these things with you so you can see, okay, LinkedIn is definitely a place where I want to be. I can give you inspiration. I can motivate you with what I do. And then, of course, you would come to me, and I can also grow my business by helping you. So it's kind of like a win-win scenario there. So once you know exactly what your purpose is on LinkedIn, it becomes far, far easier. Does that make sense for everyone so far? Thumbs up in the chats. Josh, I'll see you in the LinkedIn chat. Welcome in. Melissa, welcome in as well. Avery, good to see you as well. Good to have all you guys here in the chat today. So for those of you that are just coming in, we're basically just going over attracting clients right now. So we have a pretty good system behind it, and it all starts with purpose, with alignment, with your consistency on your branding, and just knowing your purpose on why you're actually on the platform in the first place, right? So there's also a couple things we can discuss in terms of what you should be creating on LinkedIn to actually attract people. We already know that the first thing is your profile. People come to your profile first. That's the first thing they see before probably anything at all on LinkedIn, right? So your profile. The second thing is going to be organic LinkedIn post content. It's the same content you might be posting on Instagram, same stuff you might be posting on your TikTok, whatever it is, just your organic LinkedIn content. Okay, that's incredibly important. After content, you have your comments and your DMs. So comments that you send to people on their posts, right? So if I go to my timeline and I'm scrolling my timeline, right? I'm going to share my screen also I just realized I didn't share my screen on school. Okay. So if I'm, let's say, scrolling my timeline, I see LinkedIn posts, right? Let's make this a little smaller. Okay. So if I see LinkedIn posts here, all of these posts I have in my timeline, they're in the same niche as me, same kind of founders, same product people. I will go and then comment on about 40 to 50 plus of these posts in my niche. And if I use a tool like Magic Post, for example, this is the tool that I use for all of my comments here. If I go to Magic Post, we can actually utilize their engagement features to then comment all across the platform. So if I go to my engagement here, I have a main list here. I can manage all of the posts that are posted today from a very specific list. So let's say, for example, I make a list of all potential clients, and I make a list of all my potential ICPs and my, let's say, maybe similar careers in my niche, essentially. I'm going to create this list on Magic Post, and now I have a full curated list of posts I can comment on. So the first thing, you have your LinkedIn profile, you've got your LinkedIn content, and you have your LinkedIn comments. All three are incredibly crucial. If you go to your LinkedIn profile as well, there's a couple things you can see. There's video content, you have image content, and you've got, let's say, carousels, which will be documents. There's also a few different types of content formats you can create. I would just test them out. There's no content I kind of want to tell you you should or should not create. Just test out the different types of content you can create and see what works best for your audience. And the next thing that you can 100% create to actually attract an audience is LinkedIn newsletters. I went over this last time. I'll go over it again. The 2 features that I would 100% recommend you doing. The first one is your newsletter content on LinkedIn specifically. The LinkedIn newsletters are incredibly profitable. LinkedIn loves to push them out to your audience and to your network. And so using LinkedIn newsletters, you're going to find a far greater audience than you would before. So that's incredibly important to really focus on your LinkedIn audience and your LinkedIn newsletter. The other thing you can do is create a third-party newsletter. So utilize, let's say, a Beehive or a ConvertKit, something you can utilize for other email content. Email lists is probably one of the best things you can do. I think around 75% of my revenue comes from sending emails, like, I don't know, 5-6 times a week for different types of funnels, right? So email content is incredibly important, and you can build one on LinkedIn. The in-house feature is highly recommended. The other thing, like what we're hosting right now on LinkedIn, is our LinkedIn Live, so LinkedIn events. Host LinkedIn events. I cannot recommend this enough. If you host LinkedIn events, you're going to target both your current audience and also future audiences as well. So if you do LinkedIn newsletters, if you do LinkedIn events, if you do LinkedIn post, if you do video content, carousels, whatever it is, if you have all these organic items on LinkedIn, it's impossible for people not to find you. The goal is to produce so much content that you just get in people's face 24/7. That is the end goal here. Also, Yash, good to see you in the chat. Hope all is well there. So that is pretty much the system there. Let me open up my chat too so we can see the, I'll open up our chat for today. I don't want to miss any of y'all's questions, just to make sure I have it up here. All right, awesome. Okay, cool. All right, yeah, analytics is crucial as well. Sure, the analytics for all content is important to look at. You also just want to like trial and error. Like trial and error is so important as well. If you don't have any sort of trial and error process for your content, then it's kind of, you're going to miss out on so many results because of the fact that you're not paying attention to that. So yeah, very good point there. Okay, also, Lauren said the creators winning on LinkedIn are consistently using the ones who treat LinkedIn like a repeatable system. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So LinkedIn is basically the full process of having LinkedIn as a one big system is kind of the whole goal in the end of the day. You want to have a full system on LinkedIn that kind of works together. So your content works together with your newsletters, your newsletter works together with your video content, with your LinkedIn Lives, with your school community. Everything that you're building essentially should all work together, which is incredibly important. Also, Poet, welcome in this chat. Good to see you in the LinkedIn chat as well. Consistency, yeah, that's also another thing I will recommend is you have to continuously keep up with your consistency for everything. I know it sounds kind of vague, but consistency does matter. I've been posting, I don't know, for the last 3 years on LinkedIn. I really haven't missed a single day. There might have been a couple days where I didn't post because I reposted something, but I haven't missed a single day of content over the last 3 years. I've posted every single day, and it's a huge part of what drives results on the platform. Is just showing up on the timeline 24/7. Like you want to be in front of people's eyes all the time. Posting your newsletter, showing up in the email inboxes, posting on LinkedIn, showing up on the feed, sending DMs, popping up in people's DMs. Just literally anything you can do on LinkedIn, you should be doing to constantly pop up on the feed. So that is like by far the best way to consistently show up on the platform. 100%. Yeah, great additions there, guys. Great additions. Cool. So yeah, so that's currently the first step of attracting audience is your organic content, your organic output, whatever you're basically producing on the internet is going to be how you're attracting an audience. All right, guys, any questions so far in the chat for me? Anyone have any questions for the system so far? Okay, I see this. So we have, let's see. Scene, problem, one word, fix, example, why it works, proof, lesson, CTA. This is my framework for writing a post now. Can you tell me if it's good or not? Also, what's your framework for writing a post? Yeah, so I always recommend for my hooks in content, it always should be something relative to your current audience. It should be 100% relatable. Like if your content hooks are not relatable, it's not going to hit for your audience. Like it's not going to make sense because your whole goal isn't just to sell on your content. It's also to like bring out those oh wow moments in people. Like if I read your posts, if I'm not like oh wow, like wow, this is interesting, like wow, like this is like relatable to me, people are probably not going to spend time on it. It's got to be somewhat relatable. They want to learn from it. They want to learn from you, or they want to see like what you've been through, right? So that's why the first part, like relatability and transformational, is incredibly important for your LinkedIn content. You see the next part is showing your problem and then a one-word fix, an example and why it works. Yeah, so I think it's important to do that, but you also don't want every post to be like, here's your problem, here's a fix, here's my solution. If every post you create is like based on a problem and a solution, that's fantastic, but it doesn't really work all the time. That's like, it's almost like a salesy type of post, right? It's like you're promoting something. It's like, oh, okay, I know you struggle with posting consistently, but if you post consistently, you're going to get results. And I have this free course, or like I have this paid course, help you post consistently. And you post like a link, right? That's ideal in a perfect world, but it's going to get tiring. It's not going to make your content stand out to people because everyone is doing that. And so you can do that, but don't do it for every post. And make sure a lot of your content is also more based on your story behind the scenes, something that you could do that no one else is doing, right? So I think that's a good format for maybe your promotional post. I also don't think that every post needs to have a CTA. I would say only about 30 to 40% of my posts have links. The rest are no CTAs or follow CTAs or question CTAs. I don't link people every single post. I don't want people to leave my LinkedIn profile every single time I post something. I want people to stay on my profile. I want them to see my content, see my coaching. I want them to see what I'm doing on LinkedIn too. I don't want to just send them to a website, send them to a newsletter, send them off platform. LinkedIn also doesn't like that, so you don't want to have a CTA in every post. So does that kind of help? And in terms, I can show you the post formats in here in just a second. How important LinkedIn is for B2B founders for getting clients, leads now and in future, if you can share the importance. How important LinkedIn is? Everything. I mean, LinkedIn is my entire business model. I don't use any other, I mean, I use other socials, but for the actual business model, LinkedIn is by far like incredibly important. I would say that if you don't have LinkedIn, then you're probably on another platform. But LinkedIn, like I said before in the start, it's got the highest potential, like people use it for a reason. There's actual buying intent on LinkedIn. So people are on LinkedIn for a reason, whether they're scrolling for education, they're scrolling to find a job, they're scrolling because they want to, let's say, buy something. There's a lot of intent on LinkedIn. So it is incredibly important. You could be doing B2B, you could be doing B2C. It doesn't matter. As long as you're targeting the right people, you're making it known who you're targeting in your messaging, it'll work for you, right? The niche doesn't matter. I have clients who are in aerotech. I've got clients who are in manufacturing equipment. I've got clients in the health industry. I've got clients who do the same thing I do. They sell products and services online. I've got like clients in like every niche you could think of, and they're all succeeding because they all just focus on the very specific system, which is have a purpose on why you're using LinkedIn in the first place and target the right people and know how to target them. And then have a system in place to when you do target them, how are you going to get them to whatever funnel you want to? Some people want to sell. Some people want to get people into calls. Like everyone has a different purpose for the platform, which is why there's no system that fits all, essentially. You have to build your way through a system that works for you specifically. You can't just copy my system and hope it's going to work. If you're selling something in a completely different industry, a completely different product, like it's not going to work just by copy pasting, essentially. Can you share the post that will help me in more clarity? Yeah, I mean, I can share a couple posts. I mean, I've got so many different types of content and posts I use. Like I could just show you this one. This is kind of like more of a behind the scenes / personalized post. So I basically started this post by saying it took me 1,000 days to figure out LinkedIn. Okay, so that automatically, when you see 1,000 days, yeah, of course, Yash, happy to help. Ask any questions you have. When I say 1,000 days, it automatically says, okay, Alex has social proof. He has experience on the platform. So that's automatically showing you about me. Like I've spent 3 years, over 3 years on the platform. So that alone is a huge hook, right? It's gonna hit. Here's everything I know condensed into 60 seconds. Okay, so I just told my audience, well, this is gonna be a quick post. You can read this post in 60 seconds, okay? I also say, here's everything I know. So I'm basically telling people, wow, in 60 seconds, how can you share everything you know, right? It's interesting, but it tells people like, hey, like he's going to share a lot of what he knows here, right? So that's also incredibly important. And then I kind of go off the post by starting with my system. So I have a hook that's relatable, and you can see the transformation here. So I'm basically showing you what to expect in the post. No clickbait. You do not want to clickbait in LinkedIn content. The next bit is my system. So basically what I'm doing and everything I know in that 60 seconds. So it's my full system up to here. And then I have actually at the very end, I've got a simple CTA, which is to follow me on LinkedIn. But the actual format of these posts is very simple. I start with a CTA that's relatable or shares a transformation of where I have been that you want to get, right? That's basically the hook. Then the next part is typically going to be a system that I'm sharing or a relatable story that I had this week or something behind the scenes in my business that only I could share, that only I could talk about. AI can't write it for me because it doesn't know, okay? So that would be the basically the bulk of each post. And at the very end, I always have some sort of, hey, follow me, or hey, what's this question, or drop it and just leave nothing. Like you could just literally drop a post and leave nothing. The only thing you want to avoid doing is kind of leaving your audience with nowhere to get to. So if they go through a post, right, and they have this oh wow moment, like wow, this was an incredible post from Alex, like I learned a lot from this one, or this is really true, or this is really relatable. Where should they go next? You don't want them to just hit the post at the end and they're like, okay, well, what do I do? Like, I don't know what the next steps are. I'm just going to keep scrolling my timeline. Instead, you should take them somewhere, take them on a journey, take them to your community, take them to another maybe more valuable post, like a newsletter, take them to your profile, have them book a one-on-one call, like send them somewhere else in your funnel so you don't leave them with nothing. If you leave them with nothing, then that's unfortunate because now you just lost a potential. A client, maybe it's even like a potential, just a cool person to have in your network. You never know what it could be. So you definitely don't want to leave people stranded when you do create content. So that's pretty much like the format that I use for all my content. I also don't have a specific format that I use for every post. Like a lot of my posts are completely different. Like I'll just have the most random formats. I will test the most random things. Like I said, I've posted for the last 3 years. I've tested every format in the book. I've tested every hook in the book. I've tested every number in the book. I've tested every CTA in the book. I've tested it all. There's no like one format where I'm like, oh wow, like that works the best, or like you know the CTAs that always work. Like that doesn't exist on social media because it also depends on your audience. Okay, it depends on the algorithm. It depends on the time you post. It depends on if it's actually relatable stuff. So it doesn't matter what formats you use or how you do it. It's always going to differ based on the day when you're posting it, who you're posting it to, how you're targeting it. It all depends on all these different things. So yeah, I've started service businesses for LinkedIn ghostwriters, for a B2B, founders of LinkedIn agency to decode the why behind content performance. So beyond vanity metrics, that's good. Using behavioral intelligence. What should be my next step or right direction to get my first paying client? Okay, I mean that's really cool. So you are targeting LinkedIn ghostwriters to decode why content performs. Okay, I mean that's really cool. I think what you should do is focus on kind of building like a persona. So like, why do people need this service? First of all, like who needs this? Who is the exact person? Is it someone in the United States who is running an agency from the age 24 to 30 and has less than 5,000 followers, is doing less than 10K a month? Like, write down and really plot out who is going to pay for the service, okay? So first figure that out, because if you don't know who's going to pay for it, you'll have zero clue on how to actually write your content because you don't know who you're talking to. You have zero clue how. So really understand who exactly am I going to be talking to and who am I going to be selling to, right? Can I share can I tell my audience share yeah, do that at the end though, when we're at the end of the session, in the last 15 minutes is good. But yeah, you basically want to determine like who are you actually going to be targeting. That's first thing. And then within this product that you're creating, the service, what is the exact transformational? So going from what to what? So for example, you could say for LinkedIn growth, you could say, I'll take you from 0 profile views to over 10,000 profile views in less than 12 weeks using this system, right? So what is that transformational progress that people will receive when they go through your service? So showcase the transformation. That's huge. So you know exactly who you're helping. You know exactly the transformation that the people are going to get. Once you have those two things, selling is easy because you know exactly who you're targeting. So if you're targeting Alex, I have this issue, let's say. I can't grow my LinkedIn agency. I'm struggling with revenue. I'm not able to get clients. I don't know how to get any clients through social media. And I'm stuck at 20K a month. I want to scale higher. I don't have the time. I don't have the employees. And I just don't have like the system for it. Okay, so you know exactly who I am. You know what I run. You know what I built. You know my problem. And so you need to figure out, okay, so with my service, Alex, I'm going to help you with that bottleneck. I'm going to help you go from being stuck at 20K a month. I'm going to help you get stuck from the, you can't scale more clients. And I'm going to help you go to 40 to 50K a month in our first 12 weeks, or money back guaranteed. And we're going to build you out this system that's going to allow you to take on an extra 5 or 10 clients per month using XYZ. We're going to hire out using, like, you're going to show the system that's going to get me where I want to be, essentially. So you show those things, and you're golden. And now you can represent this in your content. So you can show some, let's say, social proof from your past experience with maybe people you work for free, maybe from your lead magnet. Maybe you can showcase results from your own business, what you've seen using the system. So let's say you're selling a LinkedIn growth system. You implement it into your business, and then you just show people the results from it, right? And then you can sell that to people. So if you can share with everything I just said, I don't know, take the recording, transcribe into ChatGPT or Claude, make a system out of it, right? And then share that in your content, make it known in your content, and you'll sell way more. And that can be the first step to getting you your first client on LinkedIn. And then you can also utilize LinkedIn DMs and comments as well to like really grow this strategy. 100%. That's a great question. Does that make sense, Yash? I hope that helps. That's really, really good. I guess we got about another like 5, 6, 7 minutes-ish for this system, and then we'll go into some final questions. If you want to provide, you can turn on your camera now if you want, and share with me the DMs that you're sending, and I can kind of give you a little bit of a, or if you want to send into my DMs, that's up to you. How's it going? Awesome, man. Yeah, let's see. Do you want to share your screen? Okay. Yeah, I turned you on, so you can share. All right. Well, let's check this out. Okay. So you have. I'll make this big on my screen. Yeah, it sure is. Okay, I'm going to do display capture. Okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So, hey man, it's great to connect. Welcome to my community. Thanks for saying the quick note. As very few put the effort while connecting with someone. Wait, so this is what you sent, or someone sent this to you? Oh, okay, so you sent this. Hey man, it's great to connect. Okay, and okay, so you said welcome to my community. Thanks for keep it open real quick. Thanks for saying the quick note. As very few put the effort while connecting with someone. I would love to hear how so their business is making schools better for students.
More than that. So that's why I mentioned that.
Okay, and you're what are you trying to sell to them?
Right now we are providing for services for digital marketing clients, but I am trying some, I will say, messages, because I haven't sent any proper messages after my thinking, and like reading a profile after that, we have only tried till yet AI messages. So maybe something like that. I kind of practicing, and maybe if I will find my target prospect, if I will after keep sending different DMs to different prospects, something like that.
Got it. And these people you're sending DMs to, are they confirmed like they would be perfect for a client match? Like they could be your client?
Yeah. Two of them are perfect, and few of them I'm testing. I still don't know. If I will, the conversation will go forward, then only I will be able to know if they are good or not.
Okay, can you share with me another example?
Yeah, sure. This one.
Okay, I saw your recent post.
Yeah.
Something to your website.
This person actually was a big creator who has around followers, like around 40 to 50K followers, and he has done like million of revenue. So for this is not our like prospect, but yeah, I'm testing some DMs so I can get better at it.
Yeah, the whole question thing at the end, I see you're asking like questions at the very end of every single one. That's risky.
Yeah.
You have to kind of see what works, because if you send a question, it makes people think like, oh, they have to reply now. They have to answer your question versus opening a conversation. So what I typically do is if I'm going to share some sort of value to them, I'm gonna share it with them, and then you can say like, can I send it over? Like if you're saying like a lead magnet, for example, but since you're asking them a very specific question, they now feel obligated. They have to respond to that question, or they can't message you,
Okay.
right? So what I would do is
Okay.
test out some conversations without having to full off the bat just ask them a question.
Okay.
Because most people, when you start a relationship with someone, you don't bombard them with
Okay.
questions, right? You kind of build that relationship first, then you ask those questions. So
Yeah.
maybe you could do more like
Right.
welcome them to your community. I wouldn't say my
Mhm.
community, I would say the name of your community. So like welcome to the Growth Innovator, welcome to the name of your community. And then you can maybe tell a quick intro about yourself, like really, really short. And then maybe you could leave it at that, or be like looking forward to seeing you on the timeline, or looking forward to staying connected, or something like let's stay connected. Something like that to get them to respond. Once they respond, you can then open the conversation. But yeah, if you start with a question, it's
And
going to turn off most people.
yeah, in beginning, so in like when I try different messages, so the first message is like, will it be constant of introducing my profile, what do I do and what are the services I kind of provide, like little bit introduction, like not in a pitch kind of way, but like little bit explaining what do I do,
Yeah, and also
something like
say like
that.
you're helping a certain type of person. Like I have some clients who will
Okay.
basically in our message we always say like, hey, we're targeting. We don't say we're targeting founders, but we're saying like we have a community
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
founders, right? And so you're saying we are targeting, right? We are founders, right? So we have a community of founders who are doing X, Y, Z, who are getting to X, Y, Z. So we're kind of showing like that transformation that we're looking for. And then I'll just say like, looking forward to
Okay.
seeing you on the timeline. It just opens a conversation. They're probably going to message. I would say 70% of people are going to say like, hey, it's great to connect, or great to have you in the community. Another 20% are probably going to try to sell you something. You can automatically remove those people. And then the rest
Okay.
of them, you can just have a conversation, eventually lead back to that question you had in before your message. But you can ask those questions once you have a relationship already. It's hard to ask those questions when you don't know the person and they don't know you. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely awesome. Yeah, thank you, Alex.
Yeah, of course. Questions are a turnoff for most people. Yeah, really good questions.
Yeah. Yeah, thank.
Yeah, of course. I'm gonna put this back to my other monitor. Okay, we think we got a couple other questions on LinkedIn which we can go over. Okay, I'll share my screen back to. I'll just share my whole screen, full send. Okay. All right, yeah. So we had a couple other questions, guys, regarding content. All right, so I'll go back to my profile. Yeah, guys, we still have another like 5-ish minutes till I have another call. So if anyone has any other questions, just keep dropping them in the chat, and I will go over them. Also, Yash, you said define persona, showcase transformation, show results. Yeah, and you can also just adjust it as you go. Like I can even see this guy's post. If I go to my timeline, I'll see like a bunch of top content, right? That's doing really well. You can also just take a look at some other types of formats that work. You can't really stick with one format just because your audience will get sick and tired of it. And also, it's not a good way to test it. So what I would do is I would figure out like 3 or 4 formats that you can use, maybe even 5. And then in the next, let's say, month and a half, just start testing a different format. So like, let's say for next week, we'll test 3 different formats. Let's say 2 each. And then the next week, do the same thing. And just after that month and a half, you can now note, okay, this format did the best. This one did second best. This one did horrible, so we're going to scrape this one. And then we'll test out some more. So you kind of just like a trial and error process, essentially, is what works really well for that. But yeah, that's a perfect formation for your content. Really good stuff. Okay, and then also someone was asking about connections. How many? I always send out 200 connections per week. I typically recommend doing the max you can as long as you're targeting the right people. But yeah, you can send out 200 max typically if you have a warmed up account or if you have premium. If you don't, typically 100 is okay. Target the right people, target the right location, and just don't sell in your DMs. Target people, but have a conversation like we were just talking about. What I also do too is I don't sell really on LinkedIn. I focus on selling in my newsletter and in my other areas where I can sell. On my actual LinkedIn account, though, there's no really reason to sell because I want to nurture and warm up people first. So in my content, I typically push people over to joining my newsletter or getting into my free community. I get them into somewhere where I can then upsell later on. So we kind of use LinkedIn as like a nurturing social, and then we'll send people over somewhere else we can sell to them. Okay, should I send the first message or send the connection request first, I'm a little bit confused over that. Yeah, so what I do is I just send a blank connection request to everyone. I wait 1 hour, and then I send them a message. And that works pretty well. So I typically will send it. I'll react to one of their posts. I'll comment to one of their posts to engage with them a little bit. Wait an hour, 2 hours, and then send them a DM. The personalized message requests are risky because people might read the message request. If it's not good, they probably won't accept you, which is the issue. So blank connection request, engage with them after they accept you, and then comment an hour later or message them an hour later, and that should be really good for you. I would say test that out, see if it works, and then just kind of adjust it from there. Also, after your first message, if people don't respond, I would definitely do like a little bump after 3 days. Don't say like, hey, just circling back, or hey, just checking in. Just have like another bit of conversation to add to that first note. And then that should do really, really well. Yeah, so that's another question about connections. And the other one we had, where was it? We had a question from Jacob. Where was that one? Oh, okay, so LinkedIn newsletter, should you post the same content from LinkedIn newsletter as a third-party newsletter, like on Beehive? I typically do post the same content, but I'll also have sometimes where I'll post different content. It's kind of up to you. Both of them are fantastic platforms. Only difference is on LinkedIn newsletter, you do not get your emails from people. On your normal newsletter, of course, you can have the emails. But I would post the same content, different content. If you don't have the time, repurpose the same content. It's phenomenal. And if you do have time to have some like different content, go ahead and just make your LinkedIn newsletter the purpose of it to promote something very specific. You still prefer Spotify over Apple Music? Oh yeah. I mean, I have a student discount on Spotify. It's like $4. I don't know. It's cheap. I don't know. I'm a money saver, man. I'm a cheap guy. I like to save money on things. I don't like to spend money. I know Apple Music, I think you can get like 12 months free or something like that, but I also just like the UI better on my phone. Maybe I'm bad and I need to test out Apple Music. Who knows? All right, guys. I have a call here in about a minute, so I do need to hop off. I think I answered most of the questions so far. This will be recorded for our premium users over in school. So if you guys are a premium user, you can go to the school community, head over to Classroom, and then just go to our weekly Q&A sessions. And then also you'll just find everything there. Our next weekly session for our premium users is going to be, if on the calendar I have it correctly, it's going to be Wednesday on June 3rd. And then if you guys go to the calendar on school, you can see all of our next events. We've got a few on the 3rd, 5th, 12th. We have tons of events next month. We'll also add more to it over the month. So that's exciting. We got lots of stuff going on. Eddie, did you have any questions before I hopped off?
No, I just want to say bye.
Cool, man. Sounds good. Thanks for tuning in today. It's good having you here. If you have any other thoughts or you want to ask me anything, just shoot me a message. Like I know you have been, so you know where to find me. Cool. All right, guys. Good session today. Probably, yeah, thanks for popping in too and turning on your mic and asking some questions. That's awesome. I'll see you guys in our next session. Hope you guys have a great weekend. We've got a YouTube video, I think probably on Saturday or Sunday coming out this week. So that's exciting. And yeah, I'll see you guys soon. Thanks for popping in. If you have any questions, shoot me a message on